Yo, 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 yo. Just got back from our very first camping trip using the dual array solar system. And I posted a photo of it, and a couple people were asking how I set it up. So I thought I'd make a quick video here. So we have a 100-watt rooftop panel, and then we have a removal panel. This is just a 50-watt, but we could use up to 150 on this cable that I have here. And what I've done is I've set up a dual array system, because if you say you come up to a campsite, and you want to park your trailer in the shade, well, that's not going to be very beneficial to your solar. So it'd be nice if there was a movable, portable panel that you can move to wherever the sun is. So that's kind of what I've done here. And the only way to do this as efficient as possible is making a dual array system. Nothing's in parallel, nothing's in series. Everything's just directly connected to its own controller, which I'll show you all here. So again, just two 1-inch aluminum angle riveted to the actual frame, and then the solar panel bolted. The wires come down here. You gotta leave some room, because when it closes the roof, obviously it pulls up the wire a little bit. And then all I did is I just went down and I just drilled a hole into the bottom of the floor here. So that's the main panel, and then the portable panel, I use a 16-foot extension, and then I just have an SEA, I think, connector out here, or a ZAP, I think they might be. So it's just one of these super simple, plug it in. So now with this system, if that was in the sun, say if I put it, let me just put it here in the sun. There. So now that's getting some good sun, and that's just, that one's not. So if we go into the actual trailer here now, I've moved all my batteries inside, and I'm using LifePo4 or PO4 batteries, which are lithium phosphate batteries. So the actual control, I know it's a mess in here, but the actual controller and the breakers and stuff like that, the actual control board of the Aliner can't charge these things, because the lithium batteries need over 14 volts to charge, and the older lead acid batteries only need like 13 something volts to charge. So the actual setup and the wiring that the Aliner comes with, and the actual converter that's over underneath here, won't charge these batteries. So that is one reason why I added the first solar panel. So what that does, the first solar panel comes in, goes into a switch right here, so you can turn it on and off, and then it goes right into this MPPT controller here, and as you can see, it is getting 3.2 amps right now, not very much. And then so this one only controls the rooftop, so it comes in, which is actually super nice, and you can see batteries at 100% right now. So we got roughly 6 amps going into the and then what I've done with this one is I hooked up the Bluetooth little module to it, so now I can connect to my phone and see all that stuff in my house, which is super nice. I wired in a whole bunch of these little USBs as well, and again, I just used a simple bus bar down there. You can see at the very bottom, there's your negative, there's your positive bus bar, and then there is my main 20 amp fuse to the actual trailer itself. I know the wires look bad in here, but this is an inverter. This is a 400-watt inverter right here that I only plug in when I actually need it, so I just leave the alligator clips here. And what I've done is I have these batteries in parallel. As you can see, positive to positive, negative to negative. And I still have 12 volts, but I have 80 amp hours. So they're 40 amp hour batteries, 12 volts, and I've combined them to keep the 12 volt system, but have 80 amp hours. And with these lithium batteries compared to the lead acid, which are like the stock ones, you don't need to 100% vent these. So I did add little 3D printed vents to the front, but these are completely sealed off, don't need to vent them, which is super nice. And you can almost drain these to zero. So with a lead acid battery, you're only supposed to drain them around 50 to 60%. These ones can be drained right down. So 80 amp hours of lithium would be similar to almost 200 amp hours of lead acid, right? So simple, just used connectors that allow me to put all of the solar panels onto the single little clamp. These, I could probably upgrade these clamps to full copper ones to get more efficiency out of it. I used a 4-gauge wire between the actual batteries, and then it's I think it's 10 gauge actually from the or 8 gauge from the panels. And then that little port that I showed you on the outside is right here. So if you have a solar panel array and you wire them all in parallel, what happens is that if one of them's seeing shade, it can lower the efficiency of the whole panel. So you have to add blocking diodes, you have to add all these different equipments to prevent the lower voltage, lower amperage that you can get or through solar panels. So what I did is I used a dual charge controller. So like I showed you before, is the MPPT charge controller here, the rover, and then I have a Bouge RV or whatever for the portable. So this is just a PWN controller, and what this allows me to do, again, it allows me to hook up to 150 watt solar panel on that portable one that I showed you out there. So if the camper is parked in a shady spot, well, I can just use the portable one and charge up my batteries, which is super nice. We just went on a 2-day trip. We had the batteries going, we had the fans and everything going, and or sorry, the lights going and all that stuff, and the battery never went less than 95%, which is pretty cool. But yeah, it's not the nicest wiring here, but yeah, just 2 batteries wired in together, a breaker switch on the main panel, and then the outside panel doesn't actually have a switch because I can just unplug it, right? And then fuses on everything, so that outside plug has its own 10 amp fuse, because this is only a 10 amp controller. This is a 20 amp controller, so we can pound a little bit more on this one. And again, if I wanted to add another solar panel to the roof, I can add another solar panel, but it has to be a 100 watt solar panel. So I'm combining 2 of the same voltages, 2 of the same amperages, so that the efficiency is the best. But this is kind of how I have it set up. Seems to work really, really well. I hope this video wasn't too confusing. But yeah, off-grid, completely off-grid, I guess, camper, 8-liner camper, fridge, and everything else is on propane. So you pull up to a boondocking site, got the solar, got the propane, fucking bing, bang, boom. I hope that helped some. I hope it was a nice visual for others. But we like it. We love these 8-liners. And they just, they're super light, and everything just seems to really, really work well. But anyways, fam, peace, love, and cheers.